What a race we were treated to for the opening World Tour event of 2018, the Tour Down Under. Soaring temperatures meant there were a few timing and route alterations, but there is no doubt that there was red hot action from start to finish. I don't think I'm alone in saying that it was great to see Andre Greipel back to his very best. This man pretty much made this race his own a few years back with 16 stage wins and 2 overall general classifications. And to be honest, it kind of felt like he'd never been away, despite his 4-year absence. He bookended the race with 2 stage wins, both times in front of Caleb Ewan. Now, the power that he produced to come around Caleb Ewan on that final day was, quite frankly, astronomical. According to Velon, he peaked at 1903 watts and averaged 1609 watts for the final 12 seconds. There's a wattage bazooka for you right there. And according to teammate Thomas de Gent, the Gorilla was happy with his 2 stage wins and a banana. Greipel, though, certainly didn't have things all his own way. Caleb Ewan got his stage win on day 2 of the race to Sterling. Elia Viviani took his first win for Quickstep on day 3 to Victor Harbour, whilst Peter Sagan became the first ever rainbow jersey wearer to claim a Tour Down Under stage. He did that on day 4 to Hugh Radler. Which means that just 14% of you got our poll correct last week. We asked you how many stages Sagan would win at the Tour Down Under, and thankfully he did win one, as we actually didn't give an option for no wins. We always had confidence in you there, Peter. Incidentally, in almost direct answer to the question that we posed on the GCN show just last week, is Peter Sagan all style and no substance? Sagan posted this video in reply almost. It was after his stage win, and I think you'll agree he has style, substance and graft in abundance. He really does have it all, doesn't he? Back to the race itself, and as ever, the stage to Willunga was always going to be vital in deciding the overall classification. But so too, it turns out, were the bonus seconds. You just can't take anything away from Richie Porte of Team BMC though. He knew he was going to attack, so did we, and so did his rivals. And the fact that he still managed to pull it off for a 5th Willunga stage victory in a row is testament to just how much stronger he was than the rest on the day. In fact, his power numbers, also released by Velon, are quite staggering. 622 watts for a minute and 589 watts for 1 minute and 39 seconds. And given that he can't weigh much more than 60 kilograms wet through, well, that's just another level, which is exactly what Richie Porte was on the day. However, the closest man to him on that day was a certain Daryl Impey of Mitchelton, Scott. Impey is nothing if not versatile, and that was certainly on display throughout the week. Not only was he second to Porte on the hilltop finish of stage 5, he was also second to Sagan in a reduced bunch sprint just the previous day, and second to his own teammate Caleb Ewan back on stage 2. Now, the bonus seconds that he picked up along the way were enough to see him, on countback, take the race leader's jersey. And with Porte most certainly not a sprinter, that didn't actually change on the final day of the race. So, well done to you, Daryl Impey. Now, I always think that you get a good gauge of a rider's popularity within the bunch by the subsequent reaction of other professionals on social media. And it has been very clear to me that Impey is a hugely popular winner of the race. He is a man that tirelessly works for others each and every year and rarely for himself, and he certainly grabbed this opportunity with both hands. And although this is quite a glaringly obvious choice to make, we have to give Daryl Impey our Rider of the Week award. After all, he has just made history. This was not only his first World Tour General Classification victory, but also Africa's. That is quite the milestone. Now, on the subject of bonus seconds though, we would like to get your thoughts. I, for one, think that bonus seconds make a race like this more exciting, so I personally am in favour of them. But what do you think there at home? Should there be bonus seconds that affect the outcome of a GC result? Or should it simply be that the win goes to the person who covers the route in the fastest time? You can let us know using the poll, which you will see on the screen right now. We shall leave the Tour Down Under 2018 with some fantastic news which came a few days ago. The South Australian state government has given the race an injection of cash. Cash that means equal prize money for the men's and women's race from this point forward. And that actually includes this 2018 event. I think we can all give them a big round of applause for that. Meanwhile, over in Argentina, the Vuelta a San Juan kicked off on Sunday. Unfortunately though, it was without Vincenzo Nibali. He had come down with a fever not long before the start of stage 1 and has therefore been forced to delay the start of his competitive season. Not wasting any time in getting going in 2018 though, was young Fernando Gaviria. He was delivered safely and very efficiently in fact by his team Quickstep to repeat his stage 1 victory from 12 months ago. In his wake were a quartet of Italian sprinters, but I've got a sneaky feeling they're going to find it pretty difficult to get the better of the Colombian in the upcoming flatter stages. The race continues this week and will conclude this coming Sunday. Interestingly, the riders actually get to enjoy a rest day on Thursday, which must be quite nice over the course of a 7-day race. Right, whilst the road world begins in the warm sunny climes of Australia and Argentina, the wet, windy and muddy world of cyclocross is still in full swing back here in Europe. The penultimate round of the Telenet UCI World Cup was run over the weekend in Nome in France. Katie Compton, not satisfied with dominating the US scene, overcame jet lag and some pretty difficult conditions to take a convincing win in the women's event. She rode away from everybody else on lap 1, never to be seen again, and with the World Championships just 2 weeks away, that was certainly a clear statement of intent to her rivals. And it wasn't just Compton that was flying the stars and stripes. Katie Keogh took her 4th World Cup podium of the season with 2nd place, which also moves her to 2nd in both the overall World Cup standings and also the UCI rankings. Home favourite Pauline Ferrand-Prévot rounded out the podium, an impressive ride once again since she started near the back of the grid. Meanwhile, Sana Kant had her worst performance of the year in 12th, but still managed to win the overall World Cup on the day. It was very much business as usual in the men's race. Mathieu van der Poel has literally been unstoppable this season. He has now won 6 of the 7 World Cup rounds and did so again on Sunday, also wrapping up the overall honours in the process. Second on the day was, you've guessed it, Wout van Aert. Speaking of which, this video of Wout van Aert training a couple of weeks ago passed me by. He was on a beach over in Greece on a road bike. Just goes to show you that you don't need that much in the way of facilities to get a good cyclocross training session in. Just watch out for sunbathers. Right, the final round of the World Cup is coming up this weekend and it will see the welcome return of Marianne Vos. Since recovering from illness, she's been training over in Mallorca as preparation. Lastly this week, the 5th and final round of the Track World Cup took place in Minsk over in Belarus. It was double Dutch in the points race with Kirsten Wild and Jan Willem van Schip winning the women's and men's races respectively. And in fact, it was a pretty good 3 days all round for the Netherlands competitors. Wild also won the Omnium, they won the team sprint with Beat Cycling Club and the Kieran with Matthijs Buckley. There was a standout performance, meanwhile, in the men's individual pursuit from a young rider by the name of Charlie Tanfield. He took gold at just 21 years of age, but the even more remarkable thing is that he was just 1.7 seconds off the world record time of Jack Bobridge. That is an average speed for Tanfield of 57.1 kilometers per hour from a standing start. I still can't quite get my head around those sorts of speeds that those guys ride. Charlie and his older brother Harry also formed part of Team KGF, who won the team pursuit, an event once again dominated on the women's side by Team USA, who came in a full 8 seconds ahead of Italy. And that brings this week's GCN Race News show to a close. Pretty busy, I think you would agree, for mid-January. We would still love to hear your feedback on this brand new show, and you can do that by leaving your comments just down below this video. Next week, we will be looking back at the final round of the Cyclocross World Cup, which takes place in Hoogehede, the Vuelta a San Juan, which concludes on Sunday, the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race, plus the opening European road races of the season, which are in Mallorca. Don't forget to head over to our new tech channel for a whole load of content from the Tour Down Under. In fact, if you click just down here, you'll see our look at new helmets, new shoes, and custom tech from that very race.